Hello and welcome to the new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at the top 10 nerfs for season 22. So for this video you maybe want to hold on to those Pokemon and don't really want to build them straight away. Some of them still going to be very solid though, but like those going to be meta Pokemon that are not going to be as good this season anymore. And for good reasons, which we're going to take a look at here today as well. If you enjoy this type of videos, really would appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel. Yeah, 52% are already subscribed, but 47% still could subscribe to the channel, which would really be nice for me. So feel free to do that. Otherwise, we're going to start in with the first Pokemon that got quite a bit of a nerf. And again, we're going to start off here with a Pokemon that is going to have like, it's based on the average rating basically. The average rating, the lowest average rating for the Pokemon going to be first in this case again, which means like those Pokemon are really not worth building. The further down we're going to go, the Pokemon's still going to be a little bit better. Bibarel, one of the better Pokemon this season, which actually got really good in the regionals as well. Like a lot of people, my brother as well, used this Pokemon for example. I think he even won a regional or something with Bibarel, I don't know. But like Bibarel was really good this season, like really good in the Show 6 Big 3 in the normal format. It was a really good core breaker, meta breaker, even though people didn't really expect it too much. Especially energy up, this Pokemon was great. Oh, but rollout nerf really hurt it. Going down to 275 is quite a bit. That was, I think, like a drop of over 100 or whatever. We're gonna see a few rollout heals in here, of course, for sure as well, because rollout is the only real nerf that happened. Yes, there's still the Nightshade nerf, but only affected one Pokemon, which you're gonna take a look at later. Spoiler alert. But yeah, this is going to be here, Bibarel, getting quite a bit lower, and yeah, dropping down to 444 average rating. Not so good. If you see also on the right which Pokemon beats and which Pokemon you're gonna lose against, not so good. Like honestly, does not really look that great. Even against Pokemon that's supposed to be able to beat, it just doesn't. So I'm not too sure if Shadow Bibarel still has some potential for this current meta, but yeah, this Pokemon I would definitely hold on to and don't rebuild it yet. Doesn't mean that this Pokemon is complete garbage either though, but it's definitely going to be a little bit more difficult to run compared to last season. Yeah, here we are, Ariados. Didn't get a change, nothing changed though, and still I think it's going to be a little bit worse. And also the stats show it's going to be a little bit worse. Only 154, I think it was a little bit higher up for sure there before. I think it only like 40 ranks or something higher up before, so dropped down quite a bit. And also here we will see kind of why this is the case. Like this Pokemon's average rating drops as well, which is not going to be the case for all of the Pokemon by the way, because the meta that's compared to it's going to change. So like here for example we have on the right side a meta of 46 Pokemon, while on the left side we're going to have a meta of 39 Pokemon. It can be a little bit different. But what we'll see here is of course the ginormous increase of Ghost type Pokemon. And Ghost type Pokemon are Pokemon that Ariados doesn't want to face at all, like literally scared of Ghost. Because Poison Sting is resisted, Launch is resisted, and then you're only going to be with the non-step Trailblaze, it's going to hit them. Then you have Pokemon like Lapras and Grumpig, who have fast moves that are part Psychic type, doing super effective damage against you. It is not that beautiful, like it's definitely not a great meta. I feel like the meta is definitely going to be a bit more tricky for the Ariados. Again, you can still play it, like it's not that it's completely garbage or whatever, but it's going to be a bit more tricky to play this Pokemon. Absolutely, because of the meta shift that recently happened. Next up, it's going to be here on the list as well for kind of similar reasons as the Ariados. It's going to be the Toxapex, which went down to 50. It was in the top 30 or something before. It actually like dropped down quite a bit. And again, it's kind of similar. You have a poison type that mainly relies on the poison type damage, and you have quite a lot of a Psychic type Pokemon which are going to be able to beat you, and B Pokemon that are going to be able to resist the poison typing, which are a lot of the Ghost types, making Toxapex quite difficult to play. And I saw, like, for example, tier lists from other creators as well, saying that Toxapex is going to be one of the top tier meta Pokemon. I can't really see that. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong with that one, but I don't really know where they saw that Toxapex gets buffed, because for me it's kind of an obvious nerf here. So, not too sure. Maybe Toxapex still has some play. Like, it's still ever going to have some play because it didn't get directly nerfed directly. But I would assume that other Pokemon are just a little bit better than Toxapex right now. I feel like it looks kind of difficult to play. Like, that's what I'd say from looking at the stats here, but of course it depends on what you think here. Next Pokemon, a bit of an annoying one, because a lot of people were like, hopefully it's gonna get a little bit better again. Corviknight. It's currently number 16 on the leaderboards, or like on the ranking, which is actually kind of solid. Like the before it was like I think number 6 or 7 or something, so dropped down like by crate a bit though as well. But again, it is a Pokemon that didn't get changed at all like itself, so it will never drop down like completely crazy because it wouldn't make sense. but it is definitely a little bit worse. It is definitely a little bit worse for the next season. Yes, the average rating goes up by 2 here basically, but like if you compare the left side and the right side, you're gonna see way more, more difficult matchups basically for the Corviknight. What I would think actually helps this Pokemon though is the ability to not rely on Sky Attack and go for the payback instead. With Ghost types, this could actually help it out a little bit in the current meta and also the Psychic type Pokemon. So I'm curious. Like, I feel like with this moveset definitely got nerfed. I could see play for the payback moveset though, and that's something that I kind of have to say here, of course. But yeah, Corviknight can be a bit tricky. From the ranking itself, it definitely dropped quite a bit from PvPoke. But yeah, we have to see on how it's gonna go. Lickilicky is of course an obvious one here because this Pokemon actually got directly nerfed, and the rollout drops it below the top 100, which is kind of mad. Body Slam here still, Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is actually the main savior for this one because again there are a lot of Ghost type Pokemon. At least you're going to be able to hit them for super effective damage with this move, so like that's kind of cool. That kind of still keeps it a little bit relevant. But generally speaking, this Pokemon has definitely got way worse, and average rating decreased quite a bit here as well. But now we can move on to the next one, which is going to be Clodsire, which is very weird, you must say, I think, because, oh, what, Clodsire, number 2 spot, that must be good, right? Sludge Bomb is number 2 spot, I guess, but here, the recommended moveset from PvPoke is the Stone Edge one, and just generally, I don't think that this Pokemon is great. I don't think that Sludge Bomb gonna make this Pokemon, by the way, any better. I don't think it's gonna change anything here with the matchups, because I feel like the top meta is just like such problematic matchups for this Pokemon, that the average rating decrease here just makes sense, because what do you do against a Lapras? What do you do against Malamar, which got buffed? A Grumpig that got buffed? Dusclops that got buffed? Like, so many new Pokemon are just complete walls to the Clodsire that I don't think the Clodsire are going to have a lot of play this season. And that's honest here for me. Like, I don't think that this Pokemon has a lot of play. I feel like there are too many good answers for it to be really worth it to use it and build it. So, not too sure. I feel like Clodsire is definitely a little bit of a waste. Next one, I'm sorry for everyone who kind of built this one. I actually built a new one as well for this one, but Dunsparce, this Pokemon drops down by quite a bit to 97 overall ranking here. Quite, just barely basically in the open, Great League here still in the top 100. But the thing is, what kind of saved it, I guess, is the rock type coverage that it has, because it's gonna allow it to at least hit Pokemon like Lapras for super effective damage, giving it some play here. Still, the normal typing allows it to hit like the ghost types for quite a decent amount, because like you're going to be able to double resist their fast moves easily and charge moves as well. So yeah, Dunsparce, I wonder how this Pokemon actually going to perform, but right now it looks like a very big downgrade for the upcoming meta, and it does make sense of course because it got directly nerfed with rollout. Arctibax is going to be next. I do think this Pokemon is going to be a little bit worse. The main reason for this, like Pokemon like Lapras, for example, a lot of fighting type coverage got added, with like Dynamic Punch going to be a little bit better. You have Pokemon like Medicham coming in as well, trying to destroy stuff here. So I would assume that this Pokemon is going to have a little bit less play. Doesn't mean that Arctibax is going to be like way worse, but here again, for example, the average rating is going to increase here, but that's because again we have like more Pokemon to battle against. But I do think that it is going to struggle quite a bit with like the top tier Pokemon, just because it has to rely so much on Dragonclaw, which it doesn't want to, because Avalanche takes 10 more energy to do 35 more damage, which is ridiculous. So yeah, I'm not too sure, but Arctibax I don't think is going to have that much play for the next season. I think this Pokemon is going to be quite a bit bad. Which nobody can really say about the next Pokemon here, which is going to be Diggersby. Diggersby is going to be a Pokemon that is going to be very strong currently with 542 average rating, but it drops down a little bit. It goes to 11 as a rank, which is still very good, of course, and very usable, which it is. But the average rating drops down by a lot, and also again, the issue is, yes, it's great against the Ghost type Pokemon, but the Ghost type Pokemon now got added with like coverage moves against Pokemon. For example, Dusclops has access to the Ice Punch. Dusknoir has access to the Dynamic Punch. There is just basically always kind of a coverage move on every Pokemon for this thing here. So this just makes it a little bit more difficult to run the Diggersby. I think Diggersby is going to be a little bit worse in this season compared to the last season, which also the stats already kind of show. So yeah, well, gonna be interesting, but we can now move on to the final one for today, which is not very shockingly the Corsola, which got nerfed directly with Nightshade, doing 10 less damage. Dropping from I think number 1 spot to number 6 is not really that crazy. average rating drops a little bit, this Pokemon is still very much worth it. And that's the thing as well for the video here as well. I'm not saying that you cannot run this Pokemon, and I'm not saying that the Pokemon is bad at all. But here today, I was able to take a look at basically the most significant nerfs, I would say, for the upcoming season. And so, if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.